to another video. In this floristry tutorial, this is going to be a really exciting one because we're going to be making a gyp bridal bouquet with a rustic feel. Now, these have been really popular with my brides in the UK these last couple of years, so I just thought that if you wanted to sort of DIY it, or you are just a florist that wanted to know how I do it, then this is the perfect video for you. Now, we only need a few things. So we've got some gyp and eucalyptus, we've got waterproof floristry tape, floristry scissors, ribbon scissors, and then we've got some binding wire, which I call twine. So this is going to help with a really, really rustic feel. Now, with my eucalyptus, I've got 7 stems of this, and then I've got 12 stems of gyp. So we're going to edge the gyp with the eucalyptus just to add that nice sort of barn wedding rustic vibe, which is absolutely beautiful. So the first thing we need to do, I'm just going to move my sundries over here. Then I'm going to separate my 12 stems of gyp, and we're just going to want to cut these down so then we can form like an unstructured posy with that. So I'm going to cut these into medium-sized units. So to about there for now. So we've got a stem that's that long and it can be cut down when we do bind the bouquet. So we can cut any of these off that won't be necessary in the bouquet because the stems are a bit short and it's down, so you won't be able to see the tops of the stems in the bouquet. So we really need stems looking just like this one. So I'm going to do that with every stem that I've got, and then just put the smaller units to one side, and any other bits that need to be cut, they can be put to one side as well. Okay, so for example, this one's got one down here, we don't need that. So I'm just going to do this for all of them, making sure they are a similar size to each other. So if we just do that with all 12, and then some of them can be broken. Now this is very common in gyp because the stems are very flimsy and they're really easy to get sort of stuck together and just snap, which is absolutely fine. That is completely normal. Don't be disheartened if your gyp sort of snapped a little bit. Okay, so we're nearly done with these. Make sure that's nice and cut down. Okay, then I'll do those other few in a second. With our eucalyptus, I've got 7 stems of these, and we just need to pull the excess of the units on the stem that we don't need. So we've got a long naked stem here. So just like these two, that's the length you need with the foliage on there and then the naked stem. And we're going to do this for all 7. It's really easy. You can just pull your hand down these. So there's no need for any devices or anything. It's just really quick and simple. Okay, brilliant. So I've just separated my gyp stems here so it's easy for me to grab and go and they don't sort of all stick together. So I'm going to start off with one stem, and then I'm going to get another stem, and we're going to use the spiral technique as I always do. So hold this one straight and then go in with this stem at an angle. Do make sure that the tops of the flowers are all even at the top. I know that's hard with gyp, but just make sure it's sort of layered the same. So you don't really want to be putting them like that because that's not going to make a dome shape. So we've got to make sure that they're sort of on the same level. And then I'm going to do this all the way around. So in at an angle, twist around a little bit, in at an angle, twist around, and so on and so forth. Okay, so then do watch the shape of your bouquet as you're going around. Just think that it needs to be like a round dome shape, and then your hands will do the work for you. Okay, so this one is going to be a sort of small to medium sized bridal bouquet. So if you did want your bridal bouquet a bit bigger, just add in more stems of gyp and a bit more eucalyptus that you can put around the side, and then you're good to go. Okay, so that is our gyp so far. Now, the really good thing with gyp is that you can get the scissors and sort of sculpt it. So if you want it more of a foliage shape, just like a bush, it's like just trimming a bush. So you can get it nice and perfect for your big day. Then what we need to do, we need to edge the bouquet with our eucalyptus. So I've got 7 stems of these, and I'm going to put them in exactly the same as I did with the gyp, but just edging around the bouquet. So it's got a lovely sort of silvery green accent to it around the edge. And it just brings the gyp to life a little bit than just having it as a gyp bouquet. So it has more character, adds more character to the bouquet. If you want to use more eucalyptus, you can. But I think 7 stems in this one is perfect. Okay, so our bouquet is looking like this now, and you can go around and titivate, sort of push out the gyp, sort of just titivate all the way around, and then we're going to grab our bouquet at the binding point, hold it in the hand that you don't write with, so you've got your hand that you write with free, so then it's easier to grab the tape. This is when you need 3 hands, but you learn to use 2 as a florist. Okay, then I'm just going to put the tape onto where our hand was, which is called the binding point, and then just twist it around so that it's nice and secure. Just round the top of the stems. I do like to go around a few times just so I know it's going to be secure, and whatever the bride does with a bouquet, that the flowers won't move and become like mangled. Not that they would, but we're just stopping that by doing this. Okay, so then I'm just going to go back up with the tape as well. Brilliant. Then I'll go about this far to the stem. So basically just where the end of our eucalyptus starts, we're going to go up to there, binding it. Okay, brilliant. Then we can just snip off our waterproof floristry tape, and then just cut down some of the stems, because you don't want to be working with these because they're just going to get in the way. So just cut down your stems, just enough so it's easy to work with. Okay, then I'm going to come to you and show you how I twine the stems. So what I do, I just get a bit of twine. I'm just going to put this on the floor because it's easy for me to show you. We're basically just going to put a length here like that, so then it's nice and tight and it won't sort of unravel whilst you're doing it. And then we just have to simply wrap the twine all the way down. This is really fiddly and it can give your hands cramp. So an alternative to this, you can put hessian on there, but I just think that this just makes it look a little bit sort of like you've put more work and effort into it, and it is so worth it when it's done. So just keep twisting all the way down. I mean, it doesn't matter if there's a few gaps because we are going to go all the way back up again. And your thumb will get a little bit of cramp, so do take breaks if it starts hurting too much. So when we've got the hang of doing that, basically where I stop is where my binding tape is. So this is just to basically hide where the binding tape is. So once we've got the hang of going all the way down and we've hid our tape, we are then going to go all the way back up again. as soon as that tape is hidden. So we want to make sure that we can't see any gaps. So the same technique that we did all the way down, we need to do all the way back to the top again, making sure there's no gaps, it's nice and neat, it's tight, there's no bumps in it, it's smooth. And then you'll get your perfect bind around your stems and your bride is going to be happy. Okay, so we are basically at the top now. Just keep going until you can't see any more tape. It takes more than you think. Okay, brilliant. So I've gone up to there. So where my eucalyptus stems start, I have finished there. So what I'm going to do now is just cut this off, just make sure there is a little bit of length still on there, because what we're going to do, we're going to get this length here. You might not be able to see this, but I'll show you as much as we can. We basically just need to tuck it back into itself. So with our scissors, this little bit here, I'm going to grab that and then we're going to push with our scissors all the way in. Don't worry, it doesn't damage the stems, because they're being held by the twine. Okay, so then that is lovely and secure, and we've got our gyp and eucalyptus bridal bouquet. These can also be used as bridesmaids if they want smaller versions for the bridesmaids. So just use less stems of gyp, less stems of eucalyptus. So the bridal will have this one, and then you have like how many of the bridesmaids smaller versions. They look so cool. Okay, so then we haven't cut our stems down yet. We need to make sure that all the foliage has definitely come off the stems, which are under the binding point. We don't want any stems showing. We want all the stems to be naked, just so then it looks a bit more luxury. Okay, so with our stems, what I usually do is put one hand at the top of the binding point, then two hands, and then another half a hand, and then cut here. Okay, so where our 2.5 hands stop. So what I do is I put this in water for the night for the following day of the wedding, because I make these the day before. I do cut them at 45-degree angle when I'm putting them in water overnight, but on the day you need to make sure they're flat, just because it looks nicer. Okay, so those stems, I think I'm just going to cut them down a tiny little bit more, just so it's nice and aligned. And there we go. We've got our bridal bouquet. I mean, you can put a little bit of satin ribbon here if you wanted to, but if you just want to keep the sort of rustic sort of vibe, then I'll just leave it like that. I just leave it like that, just to make sure that the rustic vibes is there. So yeah, there's our gyp and eucalyptus bridal bouquet, which can be utilised as well into bridesmaids. I hope this video was super duper helpful. If it was, please don't forget to leave us a like and a comment and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it, because it helps our channel grow so I can do more like these ones, and we can help each other and make more floral magic. And we'll see you in the next one.